You wake up at 5 a.m., you grind, you push through exhaustion, you tell yourself, I'll rest when I'm successful. But by midday, your brain is fried. Tasks that should take minutes stretch into hours. You're working harder than ever, but somehow getting less done. Sound familiar? That's because you've been lied to about productivity. For years, hustle culture has told us that grinding nonstop is the only way to succeed. But here's the reality. Hustling isn't making you better, it's making you slower. Science proves that working longer hours doesn't mean better results. It leads to burnout, lower focus, and worse decision-making. So today we're going to break down why hustle culture is actually ruining your productivity and how to work smarter instead. Let's get into it. Why hustle culture is a trap. For decades, we've been told that success is simple. Work harder, get ahead, become successful. It's a formula that sounds logical. But here's the problem. It's completely wrong. The truth is that longer hours don't mean more success. And yet, hustle culture still convinces people that more time at work equals better results. Let's break down why this is a lie. The 80-hour work week myth. You've probably heard it before. Elon Musk once said, "Nobody ever changed the world on 40 hours a week." And yet, studies from Stanford University show something shocking. Productivity drops sharply after 50 hours per week. At 70-plus hours, people get the same amount done as they would in 50 hours, but with more stress and mistakes. That means those extra 20 to 30 hours? They aren't making you more productive. They're just burning you out. This is why most people who brag about working 100-hour weeks aren't actually achieving more. They're just mentally and physically drained. Hustle culture encourages fake productivity. Many people confuse being busy with being productive. They think that long hours automatically mean efficiency, but in reality, most of those hours are wasted on low-value work. Think about it. How much of your day is actually spent on tasks that move the needle? For most people, long work hours include rereading emails instead of taking action, attending unnecessary meetings, jumping between tasks without making real progress. Studies show that the longer you work, the more distractions creep in. So while hustle culture makes people feel like they're working hard, the truth is they're just running in circles. The quality versus quantity problem. If you've ever pulled an all-nighter before an exam, you know exactly how this works. You sit at your desk for hours, but after a certain point, nothing sticks. You're awake, but your brain isn't processing information anymore. This is what happens when you focus on hours worked instead of the quality of work. The reality? The most successful people don't work the longest. They work the smartest. The science of burnout. Why overworking destroys your brain. Burnout isn't just about feeling tired. It's about your brain shutting down. Here's what happens when you push yourself too far. Your brain has a cognitive limit. Your brain has a limited amount of deep focus per day. Psychologists have found that most people can only handle 4 to 5 hours of true deep work per day. After that, your brain slows down. That means creativity drops. You start making careless mistakes. Tasks take longer than necessary. Have you ever sat at your desk for hours but barely made any progress? That's cognitive overload, and it happens faster the more you overwork. Decision fatigue is destroying your thinking. Have you ever noticed that after a long day, even simple decisions feel exhausting? That's called decision fatigue. Every decision you make uses up mental energy. So when you spend 12-plus hours grinding, your ability to make smart choices, solve complex problems, focus on priorities, completely collapses. This is why high performers simplify their decision-making. Steve Jobs wore the same outfit every day. Barack Obama eliminated small choices from his daily routine. Jeff Bezos schedules big decisions in the morning when his mind is sharpest. They understand that mental energy is limited, and wasting it on nonstop work just leads to worse thinking. Burnout physically shrinks your brain. Burnout isn't just mental, it physically damages your brain. MRI scans show that chronic stress causes shrinkage in the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for focus and memory. Growth in the amygdala, the part that triggers anxiety and stress. In simple terms, burnout makes you worse at thinking and more anxious at the same time. And yet, Hustle culture ignores this entirely. How the most successful people work smarter. Some of the world's most productive thinkers, CEOs, and creators don't work 100-hour weeks. Instead, they work strategically. Deep work in short, focused bursts. Instead of working 12-plus hours a day, high performers work in intense, distraction-free sprints. Bill Gates takes think weeks, where he isolates himself for focused reading and problem solving. Albert Einstein spent hours daydreaming, allowing his brain to make creative breakthroughs. Jeff Bezos schedules his most important decisions early in the day, when his mind is freshest. Instead of measuring hours worked, they measure quality thinking time. Rest is a productivity superpower. Hustlers see rest as laziness. High performers see rest as fuel for success. That's why Serena Williams sleeps 10 hours a night to stay at peak performance. Warren Buffett spends 80% of his time reading and thinking. Top entrepreneurs schedule midday breaks to recharge. Rest isn't wasted time. It's recovery time that makes deep work possible. They focus on high-value work. Instead of doing 10 low-impact tasks, they focus on big-picture decisions, high-impact projects, cutting distractions. They're not doing more, they're doing better. Final takeaway, hustling is making you slower. You've been told that success requires more work, but the truth is, hustling isn't making you better. It's making you slower. If you want to be truly productive, stop measuring success by hours worked. Start prioritizing deep, focused work. Stop treating rest like a weakness. Start optimizing your brain's energy for high-quality output. The goal isn't to work more, it's to work better. Now it's your turn. What's the biggest productivity myth you used to believe? Drop a comment below. And if you want to learn how to work smarter, not harder, hit that subscribe button.